Hey, welcome back for an English video. Seems like there's no content on Grixis Affinity in English on in the Pauper YouTube, so here we go with the most recent version of Affinity, the one playing Candy Trail and Lambas over some copies of cards like Chromatic Star and Ichor Wellspring. So basically, this is an adaptation to the faster metagame. There's glitter, so you know, a lot of people switched from Grixis Affinity, a more grindy and controlish version of Affinity, to the glitters one, which is just an aggro deck with card advantage and of course all that glitters as an indie game. So basically, if you prefer a more control-ish mid-range deck, Grixis Affinity is the deck for you. But if you still prefer aggro, well, no reason to go over glitters. You can play it as a Jeskai deck, a Boros variant, or even a Azorius with Moon Circuit Akar. In my opinion, for my playstyle, I prefer Grixis. I just like I just feel more along my lines, playing Tocast and the Dispute and controlish stuff like Counterspell, Metallic Rebuke, and also I'm a huge fan of King Artificer and Gear Seeker Serpent. Alright, so with Lambas and Kenji Trail, we tried to fix the major problem of Grixis Affinity, not finding any lands in the first few turns of the deck. So basically, this deck is really prone to mana flood or mana screw, with the Scry 2 provided by Kenji Trail or the Scry 1 from Lambas. We are supposing to miss less land drops and to also being able to dig more deeper on your deck, trying to find your answers to the big threats from the current metagame. Namesake, all that glitters, or rather creatures equipped with all that glitters, or maybe even Tolerant Terror, Gearseeker Serpent, and Murmuring Mystic. So for that reason, we play Cast Down over 2 copies of Galvanic Blast. I still like Galvanic Blast, and maybe it is wrong to only play 4 removal spells. You can just cut a Metallic Rebuke or some counter spells or all the Metallic Rebuke to add more lands, more card advantage, or more removal spells in form of Galvanic Blast, Cast Down, or even Breath Weapon, which is currently only played in the sideboard in this deck list. I think there's not much more to talk about this deck list in particular. In my opinion, Grixis Affinity seems still well placed in the metagame and can be a great choice if you are expecting a lot of decks like Golgari or Kuldotha. And it has some bad matchups like, just to say, Dredge, but probably Dredge isn't really much played, at least in paper. Seems like it's starting to grow stronger on Magical Line, I mean Dredge, but it's still probably too early to fear Dredge as a huge presence in the metagame. I mean, you can face it sometimes, but it isn't really so much represented currently. I think we can talk about not having Chromatic Star and not having enough copies of Ichor Wellspring. Well, you don't really have much room to play more than 2 copies of Ichor Wellspring when you're already playing for Lambas. And also, you don't really have much room for Chromatic Star if you prefer to play Icar Wellspring and Candy Trail. In my opinion, also this cry provided by our cantrips, artifact cantrips, are enough to cut Chromatic Star, especially when you aren't playing anymore Reckoner's Bargain. I mean, Reckoner's Bargain is strong with Enforcer and Frogmite, but you don't really want to play Frogmite in this deck, in my opinion, because Frogmite has a very low power level and doesn't do much besides letting you play faster Mirror Enforcer and Gear Seeker Serpent. Okay, you can sacrifice it with your Reckoner's Bargain, but to get 4 lives, but when you are already getting a lot of lives with Lambas and Candy Trail, probably Reckoner's Bargain isn't really necessary anymore. So for that reason, we cut Reckoner's Bargain, and for that reason, we also cut Chromatic Star, because you can dig better. You can dig better with Candy Trail and Lambas to find your mana, your color, and eventually your answers and also your threats. We probably should also talk about the sideboard and the lack of cards like Gorilla Shaman and Nihil Spellbomb. I usually don't like Graveyard 8 in Grixis Affinity sideboard, because usually in Pauper the only graveyard-based decks competitive are control decks with Ephemerate or Ghostly Flicker. So for that reason, against those decks, it is better to play more copies of Pyroblast, Counterspell, and sometimes Negate. Nihil Spellbomb and Relic are anyway a huge deal against Dredge and Cycle Storm and whatever kind of combo deck which usually are also relying on the graveyard and have some kind of synergy with it. So if you fear Dredge or Goblin combo or whatever combo deck like those, I recommend Nihil Spellbomb, and you know, Nihil Spellbomb is actually also good against the Grixis Affinity, because can be a counter spell to Blood Fontaine, more or less. But you know, if you also fear the presence of Grixis Affinity, maybe it is better to just play Gorilla Shaman. And since I wasn't really expecting Grixis Affinity, at least on Magical Line, I'm not playing Gorilla Shaman. Also, I tried the third copy of Counterspell in my sideboard instead of the third copy of Negate, because even though Negate is probably better against Dust to Dust, I'm very confident with the mana base of this deck, and also the card manipulation thanks to Candy Trail. So for that reason, I favored more the possibility to counter Avenging Hunter and other more Chavism stuff, because you know, Golgari now is more represented on the metagame compared to decks like Coolgate, at least on Magical Line. And Counterspell is better because you can counter Avenging Hunter and other Chavism creature stuff like just to see Torn of the Black Rose or even Murmuring Mystic. Murmuring Mystic is probably the most annoying card the decks with relying on emblems like the Monarch or the Initiative can play against Affinity Grixis, and for that reason Cast Down, in my opinion, is really great for Grixis Affinity in the metagame, and that's the reason why I'm playing 4 copies of Cast Down in my deck. Finally, Breath Weapon. I think that Breath Weapon is great against Glitters, and for that reason we are still playing some Mass Removal. There's not many decks relying on Nagr's Worm strategy right now in Pauper, beside White Weenie, Colgate, and of course there is Glitters, but since Glitters is supposedly a bad matchup for Grixis Affinity, I prefer to play Bright Weapon over other stuff like Suffocating Fumes, because, you know, being able to kill Glintook can be very relevant, since Grixis Affinity doesn't do much against flying creatures, because, you know, all the good creatures in Affinity besides King Artificer are just big fatties without any evasive ability. Yeah, Gearsticker Serpent, you can tap 6 mana to make it unblockable for a single turn, but, you know, it doesn't really do much against the flying creature. And that's it. Let's go for the first match. I hope you may be able to enjoy this English video, and let's hope to find even more decks that you may enjoy watching, listening in this language, which is foreign to me. Alright, we are playing against PieGonti for the first match. And we have I think, a fine starting hand. So we can keep. Let's see what the opponent is gonna play, and then choose between Blood Fountain or Candy Trail, or just play land eventually on turn 1. Well, since I don't have many copies of Galvanic Blast in my deck, I prefer to play the Fountain on turn 1, because if the opponent is on Dimir Faeries, Blood Fountain is better as a turn 1 play compared to Candy Trail, because it's just a free recursion spell later in the mid-late game. And that's it. The opponent is playing Dimir Faeries, so after that, is this probably better to go for Kenji Trail or maybe Ikora Spring? Not really sure here. Probably it's better to cast Kenji Trail to find some creatures, also because I probably want another blue source next turn. Yeah, it is better to cast Kenji Trail, because if I found a Gearseeker Serpent, I can cast a Gearseeker Serpent next turn. So I don't want Lebas, but I really like the 2 cast, and we are playing Silverbluff Bridge for the red mana, and of course also have 2 blue sources, 2 blue mana source. Dum 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 dum. Alright, so the opponent is open with Counterspell, or eventually it is probably worth to cast, because if they counter it, we can play Ikora Spring, but if they don't counter it, we can play we can find a Meteoric Book, and it is probably better to find a counter spell with the turn of the Black Rose. Well, more or less, Mirror Parser force the opponent to have a swamp to cast Snap out, or we can just find a cast down, or a Galvanic Blast to kill the Monarch and steal their monarchy. Oh, well, now we have a lot of mana, and I also need a removal spell for the turn of Black Rose. A lot of mana means very bad news. Alright, so we sacrifice the Blood Token, discarding the Drasport Breach, and then we go for either Vault of Whispers or a tap at the land, visit on what we draw. Metallic Rebuke, 1 turn too late. Not stinks. I guess I need to find a Crocodile Shaman or a Galvanic Blast, but Crocodile Shaman doesn't really resolve this board situation, so my only out here is Galvanic Blast. And without the Kenku. Kenku is great, I guess. And anyway, it is better here to attack, so we can trade the turn for Black Rose with my Mirror Enforcer. And since we have a Blood Fountain in play, is free. Because next turn we can also play the King Artificer, and of course turn is bad news because there's the death touch on the creature. And now I think we have enough mana to play Kenku, eventually attack the opponent. And we also found another Mirror Enforcer, nice. So we play first the land, and then the Mirror Enforcer, so we can attack with the Kenku while holding one blue mana. And probably it's better to play first the Seat of Synth. So we have enough blue mana sources to play both Metallic Rebuke and Kenku Artificer, and also attack with the Silver Bluff Bridge. So now it's time to play my Kenku Artificer. So we animate the Silver Bluff Bridge while leaving one blue mana open to cast Metallic Rebuke, and we attack with our powerful creature with flying and indestructible. We steal the Monarch. We draw one extra card, and we pass the turn. 2 mana. This cast down on my Mirror Enforcer. In my opinion, it is better to counter it as up, because they have a lot of mana, so... Oh, he spilled. This is better so to play around Double Removal Spells and Chinier's Edict. Okay. It's still the Monarchy, but it is still fine because we have the Blood Fountain, so unless they have a Charm Blocker, we can just steal back the Monarchy. But they can still have something like Removal Spells plus an Edict. Alright, so we go for the combat. Anyway, in my opinion, it is better to first activate the Blood Fountain, because if they have a removal spell for the Silver Bluff Bridge, we can just we can cast the Enforcers before the combat. Okay, I guess they're just blocking my bridge. I'm probably not attacking with the King Artificer. I prefer to play around, as I already said, Chinier's Edict, and for that it is better to have as many creatures possible on the battlefield. So that's a Gourmet Gangler. Heavy mana, lower and reveal it, I guess. Yep. Okay. In my opinion, the matchup is really favorable for Affinity, but we also need to draw some 2-cast or similar card advantage source. Alright, First, we can roll spring. We can counter the sprite, and I can tap the Eco Roll Spring. Maybe also tap my Seat of Synod. Yeah. So we can attack with everything. Or at least with 2 creatures. Candy Trail, that's fine. Okay. We attack. They're probably not gonna block because they wanna steal back the Monarch, but dealing 8 damage here is, in my opinion, relevant. And we have a Blood Fountain and a Cast Down, which is great. So I'm drawing first the Cast Down, then the Blood Fountain, so we can try to play another Blood Fountain if necessary, but Cast Down here is more relevant because they may have a Ninja of the power or a Gurmag Angler, and being able to kill their Charm Blockers or attackers may be relevant since we want to keep the Monarch to prevent them to win this game, because as the time passes they may be able to have a comeback by drawing an off-cut. Alright, so if they have 2 normal spells and a counter spell would be really awful, but since we're gonna steal the Monarch, it is probably better to attack only with King Artificer and Mirror Enforcer. I don't know how many counterspells they have in hand, but they already played 2 copies of counterspell and 2 copies of Spellslicer Spray, so it's more likely from them to not have another counterspell or another sprite, so we can just attack with 2 creatures and then play the Blood Fountain, leaving the Bridge as a charm blocker. Okay. Well, mana-wise, it is probably better to cast the Blood Fountain without worrying about anything. The 3rd copy of counterspell. Okay. I'm cracking first the Candy Trail, because if I draw a counterspell, I can counter it back. There's a Silverbirth Bridge, and, well, Bridge, go. I'm leaving 2 blue mana open to cast Down or Deadly Dispute. Seems great. So we draw 3 cards, and we still have enough mana to cast Down, killing their Perseer. In the eventuality, we have the removal spells plus Chinar's Edict, or eventually it can work. Alright, so we sacrifice the Kenku. And are flashbacking the Chinar's Edict, and we kill the Perseer. Easy. Okie dokie. So they don't have many cards left in hand. We have a King Artificer and eventually also a card punch. Okay, easy. Really easy. So what I'm gonna do here? It is probably better to bring back 1 Enforcer and 1 King Artificer, because King Artificer is much better compared to the Enforcer in this matchup, and I already played no counter spells, so for that reason I'm just waiting 1 turn to play more than 1 creature, and we go for double King Artificer next turn. Seems like Loyal will lead, that's fine, unless they have another Turn of Black Rose, but if they have another Turn of Black Rose, that's not a problem. And they found another Lorian Village with Augur Augusto of Boros. Bujuka bug, but 1 turn too late. Stunk. Alright, So they don't even have Snuff out. We draw another Enforcer. Well, we have 7 mana. They have 9 life. I probably should play the island. So first copy of King Artificer. We animate the Mistvault Bridge island, and we animate the second copy of Mistvault Bridge, and we attack for 6 damage. So next turn, even if they have a single copy of Agony Warp, we're still lethal because we have double indestructible flying creature. Easy. So well, as I already see, the matchup is pretty favorable for Affinity, but post aside, they have something troublesome like Murmuring Mystic or even Okiba Game Shinobi can be pretty brutal. Karakhan Shaman is bad for this matchup, so we poured out the Mascapius and we bring in some Power Blasts. I also need to cut 2 cards, and okay, so what I don't really need here, because we may think about cutting some counter spells, because I have a lot of counter spells. 2 mana to counter a creature can be maybe not good enough. I mean, I wanna keep the Galvanic Blasts because being able to kill a Torn of the Black Rose or a Kibiki Shinobi or a Sprite with only 1 mana is a huge deal. And Cast Down can kill Gurmag Angler, so it may be better to keep Cast Down. Also, it can kill the Torn of Black Rose, of course. I don't really like Counterspell because it costs 1 too much. It costs too much from my point of view, because we are just trying to play more efficient spells compared to the opponent, and also we try to have more card advantage and better creatures. Since this deck is basically better compared to Faeries in this matchup, at least, it is probably better to just play around the Monarch. So I'm really not sure. Maybe we can cut 1 copy of Metallic Rebuke, because we need as many 1 mana artifacts to play a Rebuke or Blood Fountain. They can't counter my Limebass, Ichor Wallspear, Candy Trail with Spell Pierce, or even nastier stuff. And also I probably can cut 1 copy of Counterspell, because it costs too much mana. Rebuke also is not so great if the game goes longer, because they can just pay the mana. So for that reason, I'm not playing the 3rd copy of Rebuke, and we have a great 7 card keep, because we can play, just to see, Seat of Synod, Candy Trail, try to find the black mana. Ooh, okay. I don't like the Lambas, but no, actually, well, maybe I probably put on the bottom the Mirror Enforcer, but since I have a lot of mana rocks, Enforcer is great. So for that reason, and also because I have another draw with Candy Trail, it is probably better to put on the bottom only the Lambas and keep my 2nd copy of Enforcer, because, you know, when you have a Blood Fountain, Enforcer is really good. So we go for Lambas, try to find a land. Let's see if there's a Pelpers or something else. No, I don't really want to deadly dispute with this land, and we found the land. So we have the black mana, we have the Blood Fountain, and also have a Metallic Rebuke. We go for Bridge, pass the turn, and we're probably trying to crack the Candy Trail, play the Fountain and try to stick 2 mirror forces on the battlefield. But if we find a land, we can also try to go for the dispute on Lembas. Alright. How much mana? 2 mana. In my opinion, we just pass here. So we can counter the Monarch, or Alluring, no, well, there's no reason to play Alluring Revealed right now. But we can cast Deadly Dispute, Monarch, alright. And we go for Rebuke, Dispel check, Deadly Dispute, sacrifice the Lambas, which I already tapped, and sadly enough, there's no Power Blast. But well, we have a Blood Fountain, another Lambas, and a Deadly Dispute, so we can also play King Artificer. Very mana-wise efficient. So, Blood Fountain, Enforcer number 1, Enforcer number 2, Island. And let's go with my King Artificer. Brutal. Swing. I can try to galvanize the Torrent of the Black Rose if I draw a Galvanic Blast. There's no reason for do that. Rainstorm. Opponent was very unlucky because I did draw really well after after finding the first black mana source. So even with the turn 5 Monarch with this spell backup, we are still having we're still winning, so it is really favorable for Affinity's matchup. Okay, there's a still Sabotage. I'm trying to play my Rebuke here, because I don't have any Removal spell for the Faeries here. They can play a Dispel or a Counter spell, and that's kind of fine, I guess. I can still play my second copy of Deadly Dispute anyway. Or attack with Double Enforcer would be also fine here, because we kill Torn, deal 4 damage, and then play a Gearseeker Serpent. I guess I should play first Lambas and Deadly Dispute anyway. But I don't have an untapped land in end, so maybe we go for Deadly Dispute first. Sacrifice the blood token. Or maybe is this better to sacrifice the king? Now we sacrifice the blood token, because I can keep the Kank Artificer as a channel blocker. Ouch. Ouch. Attack. They're probably not gonna block anything, and that is fine. And then we go for Serpent, and I guess Mistfall Bridge, pass the turn. So now it is time to draw Fire Blast or a Galvanic Blast, and there is Candy Trail. So they are attacking all with Pursuer, but this is fine. They're also attacking with Torn of Black Rose. Okay, no. There's no reason to do that. Ninja of Teeth Powers, so that's this kind of fine, I guess. So now we are already in late game, so for that reason, Meteoric Buke is not much better compared to Counterspell, but the early game Counterspells were of course better. Okay. Bottom. Monarch is probably their best win con besides Rig Mystic. Alright, so they killed my Enforcers, we draw another Fountain, and I do really need to crack my first Blood Fountain, so it is probably better to attack first with my Mirror Enforcer. If they jump block with the turn, I can bring back Double Enforcer, which is fine, more or less, because we are killing their turn, and we bring back Double Enforcer. And probably I also should play the second copy of Blood Fountain next. Oops, I forgot about Spell Pierce. I should have played against around Spell Pierce because, you know, by playing first the Blood Fountain before cracking the first Blood Fountain. I don't have the Monarch, so I'm not drawing any extra cards, but it's still fine. And next turn we can attack with maybe not everything, but at least with my Enforcers. You can also crack the second Blood Fountain and bring back your Seeker Serpent and Kenku. That's fine. Deadly Dispute, cool. So we go first with Lambas. We tap Seat of Synth, and I guess Bolt of Whispers. Sprite, nasty. I guess Deadly Dispute, cracking Bloody Token. There's a Galvanic Blast, cool. They have only one card in hand. I'm not sure if I want to kill this Sprite. Probably it is better to let the Sprite or Soul attack. They only have 5 lives left. So yeah, with the Galvanic Blast in hand, it is better to don't do anything and attack. Let's check how they block. Eventually play a Lambas or a Candy Trail. They are probably gonna blocking both my Enforcers with Sprite and Perseer. And if they do that, I can kill the Ninja. So since the double champ blockade, it is better to kill the Ninja. And now we can play the Candy Trail. Because they have less card in hand compared to me, and I also have, wow, Kenku and Power Blast on the top deck. I guess I prefer to draw the Power Blast first, but I'm not really gonna play the Power Blast, even if I draw the Power Blast right now with the treasure tokens, but since I already have double Mirror Forces on the battlefield, maybe I'm gonna killing some creatures or prefer to protect my creatures or my spells with Power Blast. And I also have a lot of mana, so isn't really an issue to play the second copy of the Canker Divisor after cracking the Candy Trail. So they put the cards on the top, maybe double Ramel spells, and since they did that, we're just drawing the Canker Divisor from the top. We play the Canker Divisor. Let's check if they have a counter spell. And we won. We win. Easy. So, as you can see, the game Dimir Faeries is a meta deck you can consider as a great answer to decks like Kuldotha, thanks to cards like Hydroblast and also against Glitters decks thanks to Snuff Out and also Mirroring Mystic, but Grixis Affinity is really well placed against Dimir Faeries, so the game was really easy. Even if they had a lot of answers, even if they have an early game Monarch, we were still able to draw a lot of cards and to overcome their card advantage and their answers and threats. So we're starting first, but we mulligan down to 6. And with this starting hand, I prefer to put on the bottom of my deck 1 copy of Draws for Bridge, because I think we have enough black mana sources, and we have a Kenji Trail on the 2 cast to find some more lands, especially blue colored ones. Alright, so that's Kuldotha. And it is probably better to cast Candy Trail because I need a copy of Darkland Shaman to kill their stuff, or just to find some copies of Mirror Enforcer to chain block. I don't really like Deadly Dispute here because I think we have enough card draw with 2 cast a Candy Trail, but I do like the Galvanic Blast because I probably also need an answer to the Goblin Blast Runner or to Goblin Tomb Raider if they have one. Also, keep in mind that Metallic Rebuke can be an answer to Goblin Bushwalker. Alright, so next turn we can land a Gearseeker Serpent, and Gearseeker Serpent is a great charm blocker. And even though we have the mono basic land, we have the Blood Fountain that let us play Gearseeker Serpent. So Blood Fountain is really huge thanks to being an artifact at 2 artifacts with only 1 mana. Alright, Blood Fountain. Island, Gearseeker Serpent. Let's go! Turn 3 Gearseeker Serpent. So now they need double Lightning Bolt to interact with my Serpent, or they're just gonna losing a lot of creatures every turn. Since we don't have any Echoing Truth or the key effect, we can just jump block the Goblin tokens. Maybe it is better to kill the Goblins because they may have Goblin Grenade or something similar. So, well, Goblin Grenade is probably the only card that requires a Goblin or to sacrifice a Goblin to be effective. What do you have also? Trinal Lightning, yeah, okay. So Lightning, Seal of Fire, and Goblin token to deal with my Serpent. Kind of fine, I guess. We can still draw Mirror Enforcer, another Serpent, or even better. There's a King Artificer. Okay, so Silverbluff Bridge, pass the turn, crack Candy Trail. If they have a Goblin Tomb Raider, we can kill it with Galvanic Blast, which is fine. And then we go for King Artificer when we have enough mana to cast King Artificer into something else. If they are attacking only with 4 creatures, only with 3 creatures and to deal 3 damage, probably it is fine to crack the Cage Trail. Goblin Blast Runner, we can kill it with Galvanic Blast. And double Goblin Blast Runner. Where's my Darkland Shaman? Okay, there's a Nico Wellspring, but they don't have a lot of creatures. We have a Metallic Rebuke. We also have a Galvanic Blast. So, in my opinion, here it is better to cast Kenku. Animate Silverbluff Bridge. Oh, maybe it was better to animate the other bridge, but I didn't really thought about that. So maybe it's fine to just animate the blue source, so because we also have a counterspell in the deck and we prefer to always keep one blue mana open. Okay, they're not doing anything, which is great, and we go for Equal Wellspring, hoping to find a Deadly Dispute or a Crackling Shaman. Another Galvanic Blast. Alright, your turn, opponent. I guess it's still fine to play the land instead of cracking the blood token to discard it, because we have a lot of interaction and we also need a lot of mana at this point of the game. Okay, so Synth here, it is fine because we have a Meteoric Book, so even if they find Galvanic Blast, well, there's no reason to counter Galvanic Blast here. Okay, they're cracking the Experimental Synthesizer to attack with their goblins. And I have double Galvanic Blast to kill their goblins. Fantastic. They're probably gonna kill my King Artificer. Maybe it is good to counter their Galvanic Blast with their Rebuke, because they have a lot of mana and they can charm block with my King Artificer. Alright, double Galvanic Blast. Yep. Someone gotta kill some goblins. So here, kill one goblin, kill another goblin, and counter a Galvanic Blast. We get, when in reality, I probably should discard the Meteoric with my blood token, but I haven't found another food or... Okay, it is better to counter the implement instead of countering the Galvanic Blast. We are basically discarding one card while preventing also one damage. And we can discard the Mistful Bridge. You can also bring back Serpent and the King Artificer. So for that, I think we are going fine for now. And since we also have a lot of mana, I think I'm not gonna play the Mistful Bridge. We can pass this after playing the Serpent, because, you know, unless I just discard the bridge, hoping to find another land, I think it is kind of similar to have an untapped indestructible land or a Gearseeker Serpent in this spot. So we just play the Serpent, forcing them to have double bolt, which is kind of difficult for them. And if they don't have, we win. Alright, so we bring in Blue Elemental Blast, Breath Weapon, and we can cut out Counterspell because it requires double blue mana to counter and is really slow against very aggressive decks. We can bring out at least one copy of Serpent because similarly it is slow and it requires a lot of blue mana. I think we don't really need King Artificer in this matchup because we don't play any more stuff like Unexpected Fangs, and Unexpected Fangs is great on an indestructible creature, but since Kenku, it isn't, since we don't play anymore Unexpected Fangs, there's no reason to play anymore King Artificer, in my opinion. And, you know, I think we can also board out another copy of Serpent. Or we board out a Serpent or a 2-cast, doesn't really matter. You know, you don't really need to win against a deck that tries to kill you on turn 4, so we just need to go later we just need to go longer in the game, and after surviving and after having more cards and more resources than the opponent, you just need to play a creature, eventually bring it back with your Blood Fountain, and you easily win. Alright, so we have a lot of lands, we have indestructible lands, we have a cast down, but in my opinion we can mulligan, because this starting end doesn't really do anything relevant. Alright, so here I think we need to keep this end, even though that we don't have any interaction, but Breath Weapon is great as an interactive spell, and we probably should put on the bottom the Seat of Synod, but only because we have Blood Fountain. Blood Fountain allows us to have a extra artifact, to cast Mirror Forcer, and also to cast 2 cast. So for that reason, I think we can take the risk to not have the third land, even though we have the Burst Weapon, and maybe I'm wrong, but in reality it is probably fine because Mirror Forcer can be a good charm blocker. Okay, so Bridge go, unless they have Cast into the Fire, but we can't really play around Cast into the Fire. It is worth to play first Bridge, the blue Bridge. Maybe we can draw a Blue Elemental Blast. And if we don't draw on a Blue Elemental Blast, we can stick later on the board our Mirror Forcer to chain block. Wow, a lot of Kuldothas. Blood Fountain, the other blue Bridge, and we pass the turn. Alright, so a lot of tapped lands, that's for sure. But next turn we can play Mirror Forcer if we don't find a land and if they don't have a Bash Walker. And that's fine to me, I guess. Unless we find an untapped land. If I have an untapped land on the top, for sure I'm gonna play the Breath Weapon. Alright. Yeah, opponent. I'm gonna burning your creatures. I'm very evil. Taking some damage is fine. Remember that Goblin Grenade is a sorcery speed spell, so there's not any reason to play as a sorcery speed my Breath Weapon. Experimental Synthesizer before the combat is great. Oh, another Kuldotha. Alright, opponent is playing around Breath Weapon, but we need to play Breath Weapon right now. I mean, even though they have a Kuldotha, I have a charm blocker, and I have also land bus, so wait. Okay, they have another land in hand. That's the reason to play the Epicure, because you're cracking the blood token over the Synthesizer. Crackling Shaman, where are you? I probably should play my Lambas because, you know, I can play Seat of Synod, cast Lambas, have an extra artifact to cast my Enforcer. So Enforcer is free. There's another Blood Fountain. No thanks. I go for 2 cast. If I find a Crackling Shaman, I can kill their creatures. There's no Crackling Shaman, so we go for Kenji Trail. Let's check where's the Crackling Shaman is. Wow, lot of lands. And we go for Enforcer. Next turn, we can crack Lambas and Kenji Trail and hope to find something. But probably it is better to crack the blood token over the Kenji Trail. I mean, the blood token costs only 1, and I can still draw another copy of Breath Weapon. But since I also have only 1 copy of Breath Weapon in my deck, it is probably better to crack the Lambas, because by cracking the Lambas, I get 1 extra turn over cracking the blood token, which doesn't do much here. Okay, since I draw another and tap the land, I can crack the blood token, discard the Silverproof Bridge, And we draw a blue elemental blast. Great. They don't have 3 copies of Lightning Bolt. I hope. Well, Seat of Synod, your turn, opponent. It is probably worth to keep the mana open only if they have a Goblin Bushwalker on the top deck. I mean, to cast Blue Elemental Blast. If they don't have it, it is better to crack the Lambas, I guess. So, crack the Lambas. Get back 3 lives. Get punched in the face with 3 damage. Go down to 12. Opponent plays a land. Pass the turn. And we draw to cast. Let's go to cast. Draw 2 cards. No! Too many lands. I think I can still wait 1 turn to do something. I mean, I can crack the Blood Fountain, but if I do that, even if I play a land, my Mirror Forcer will still cost 1 mana. And weird enough, we did draw a lot of lands in a deck playing only 19 lands, which is kind of weird, but we also played only 2 copies of Tukast in reality, so I guess it's just my me being unlucky in this spot, so it is kind of fine. Let's hope for the opponent to not have anything relevant. We pass, we draw something, and we do something. Eagle Rollspring! Eagle Rollspring can draw Deadly Dispute. And also is another artifact. Metallic Rebuke. Okay. Oh shit. Alright. Vault. Bring back the Enforcer. Probably the worst Mirror Enforcer ever played. 4 mana to cast a Mirror Enforcer on turn 7. I can cast Metallic Rebuke, but it doesn't do anything relevant here. What do you have? Lightning Bolt targeting me. Oh no, I'm going down to 6 lives. Well, there's a Blue Elemental Blast in my hand, so that is still fine. They probably gonna crack the Experimental Synthesizer this turn. And trying to find something like a Goblin Bushwalker, I guess. Yeah, we are countering a Goblin Bushwalker eventually. Alright, Great Furnace. Play a land. Attack for 3 damage. No, Goblin Bushwalker is not gonna resolve it. Pyro? Brutal. And I'm pretty much dead. Wow. No! Okay. Well, we're starting first now, so in my opinion, the matchup will be even better since we are on the play and we get to take less damage. We also did draw only 2 counter spells in the whole game. 1 Blue Elemental Blast and 1 Metallic Rebuke. And Metallic Rebuke we did draw was pretty much late in the game. We basically draw only 8. Why there's cast down? I don't think we should keep the cast down. What is better? Another a 2 mana Rumble spell or a 2 mana 5/6? Probably just need a 1 copy of cast down because it isn't really great. Spending 2 mana is just too much. Yikes. No blue, no red mana, no black mana, mulligan. And even without the blue mana, it is a kip. So now we put on the bottom the Mirror Forcer. It costs 2 match mana and doesn't do anything. We go for turn 1 Great Furnace, so the opponent might fear a Galvanic Blast. I'm joking. I don't. There's no any. Well, they may fear a Galvanic Blast or a creature, but I don't think they are willingly playing around the Galvanic Blast here. Ipse Dixit. Well. Lambus. Island on the top deck. There's a land. And we pass the turn. We can eventually cast Blue Elemental Blast by sacrificing the Lambus with Little Dispute, which is pretty cool. And hope the opponent doesn't have any smash to whatever. Double Goblin Tomb Raider. Oh no. Red Weapon seems really great in this deck list because we don't really have a lot of artifacts we are willing to sacrifice. You know, even though we have a Lambus. Oh, untap the land, please. Sure. Okay. Alright. We are Red Weaponing the creatures. I mean, double Goblin Tomb Raider. That's a lot of damage. And are you gonna playing around Breath Weapon, or are you trying to do something big with your Goblin Blast Runner? Tell me. I'm not gonna go down to 9 life anyway. So kill 3 creatures. Let's check if the opponent has something spicy, or we can just cast the Blue Elemental Blast next turn to kill another creature. Who knows? What do you have, my opponent? Let me know if you wanna play something bad for me. I killed some goblins. And keep in mind that Breath Weapon kills non-creatures, non-dragon creatures, while Fury Cannonade kills non-pirate, and Goblin Tomb Raider is a pirate. Okay, so smash the bitterness on my Seat of Needed, followed up by a Kuldotha bird. Alright. Another blue Menosaurus, okay. Well, Deadly Dispute. So I have a blue Elemental Blast open. And we go for Silverroof Bridge. Pass the turn. Let's check if the opponent has another. I mean, they had a very great start because double Goblin Tomb Raider and the other Goblin Blast Runner is very important. And then they also had a Kuldotha bird, and well, okay, you have a Voltaren Epicure. I mean, I can eventually cast Blue Elemental Blast on Epicure, but since I don't really answer your board without Crackling Shaman or I do really need my Crackling Shaman or Red Weapon. Galvanic Blast bottom, 2 casts bottom. I probably should cast a Crack the King's Trail over casting 2 casts. And let's go over that. I mean, I have the land drop, so we are just time walking with King's Trail. They crack the implement. That is fine. But they only have 2 mana, so beside the Goblin by Sugar, they can do much. And we can just crack the King's Trail to prevent 3 damage out of 4. We draw another Seat of Synod. Not great, but good enough. And let me know, opponent, what are you gonna do. Alright, when damage with implement. Implemento. They play a land. Another implement. And only one character left in hand. Would be brutal to not be able to find anything relevant and to lose to some random... And probably also can survive if I find any Mirror Forcer or similar. Yeah, ha ha ha. Revenge time. Goblinazzo. Not sure if I prefer to crack the treasure token or a land. It is probably better to crack the treasure token, because you know, when I lose one land I'm not really happy, but well, I still have a lot of... No, it is better to sacrifice the treasure token here, because I don't really like the idea... Ooh, right, of... I think that is fine, because I have a blocker next turn if they want to crack the Synth. Goblin Bushwalker. Oh. We cracked the token. 1 mana, engineered explosives. Oh. Okay. I have another copy of Blue Elemental Blast on the top deck, so it is fine to cast Blue Elemental Blast here to counter Voldemort Epicure, because it is a 1 creature, and also I'm gonna play here the Gearseeker Serpent over to cast, so I have a Charm Blocker. They need the Power Blast to attack. We can counter the Power Blast, and I will be able then to cast another Blue Elemental Blast next turn, so that is fine. Another Kuldotha? No, thanks. Not gonna resolve that card. Let's check what you exile. They exiled a Red Elemental Blast, ouch, so they're killing my Serpent. But by doing that, they just deal 1 damage. But we resolved a Kuldotha Rebirth, so that is fine, guess. No, punish it. Never punish it. Okay, I'll go for Blood Fountain. Or Lembas, I mean. Do we need cast down? I don't think we need cast down. Right, Bridge, Blood Fountain, pass the turn, and your turn opponent. The cool part about Lembas here is that basically Lembas is a free time walk or some sort here, because we draw a free card with, and we also gain 1 life, so this is good in my opinion. Alright, so you deal 4 damage, probably they're not gonna play around another Blue Elemental Blast. I also think that there's no many reason to play Bright Weapon. Not to cast Blue Elemental Blast on Bushwalker, because we have the Bright Weapon. We can just get 5 lives and cast Bright Weapon. And also we have an extra mana to cast Toecast. Cool. Oh. Okay, your turn, opponent. I'm gonna killing your 2 copies of Goblin Bushwalker with my Bread Weapon. Bread Weapon. brought weapon. So sick. Instant speed or master emeralds. Brutal. Brutal. Alright, so Eco Roll Spring. Pass the turn. Another Blood Fountain. I think there's no reason to tap out in their end step to crack the Blood Fountain. I can just wait. I have two counter spells in my hand. They don't have a lot of mana, and that is fine. Oh no, my Metallic Rebuke. I found another Metallic Rebuke. So we are cracking one copy of Blood Fountain in their end phase. We bring back Serpent and Crackling Shaman. Shaman doesn't really do much here, but it is better than nothing in my opinion. So you have 2 cards in hand. I have 2 counter spells. Do you want to play something? No? That's cool. Okay, we discard the bridge with the blood token. Oh no. Discard. Candy Trail. Cool stuff. Good stuff. Draw 1 card, gain 3 life. So lucky. Yeah. I mean, this deck is basically built on winning against Kuldotha. Okay, we are playing the 3rd match. We are selecting first. And the starting end is kind of clunky. But we do have a Gearseeker Serpent, double 2 kills, Crackling Shaman, and all the mana we need. So for that reason, I'm keeping it. Well, not even any artifacts beside the lands can be pretty raw, but at least we have a lot of powerful cards. We have a great answer against certain decks, so we may be willing to play the Crackling Shaman even without eating, artifacts and crack some land eventually. Oh, so we are facing Kuldotha, and I say we are not so bad. We are not really bad placer right now. Oh, okay. I really need a Blood Fountain on top deck. Blood Fountain. Dispute. Okay, Seat of Synod. I have more beside Crackling Shaman and Galvanic Blast, I don't really have a lot of black, a lot of red mana spells, so I prefer to leave the blue-red land untapped. So if I found a Blood Fountain or whatever, I can just play the Fountain or any 1 mana artifact. I don't think I need the 2nd copy of Crackling Shaman. I just need to draw a Blood Fountain or whatever it is. So next turn we can play Gearseeker Serpent or Crackling Shaman, crack the Candy Trail and 1 land and sacrifice the Shaman with Deadly Dispute and kill all the opponent creatures. But I don't really want to play yet the Crackling Shaman. I prefer to play Serpent if they don't have any relevant creature. Alright, so we basically are down to 9 lives, and we have 5 artifacts, so we go for Serpent and Forcer. We have double channel blocker, they can't kill them with Lightning Bolt. They need a Galvanic Blast for Enforcer and another Galvanic Blast for Serpent because they already have a Seal of Fire. So we prefer to play double creature, and then we can just champ block unless they have a Goblin Bushwalker. If they have a Bushwalker, will be very painful. Ooh, okay, do it. What was it? Ooh. We go down to 2 lives. Are basically dead if they have Lightning Bolt in hand. Oh, they killed my Mirror Forcer. And that's cool. That's cool. We can play 2 cast. We should play 2 cast. I mean, I want to play Kraken Shaman, kill their creatures, crack Candy Trail, get back 3 lives. So, in my opinion, it is better to play Kraken Shaman, sacrifice the Shaman after sacrificing 1 land to Kraken Shaman, and draw maybe a land, so I can sacrifice the Candy Trail. But if I don't draw an untapped land, I need an untapped mana source and the treasure token to sacrifice the Candy Trail. So for that reason, we go for Shaman. We don't play 2 cast yet. And we sacrifice 1 land. Keeping the priority, we cast Deadly Dispute. And we sacrifice the Kraken Shaman. Alright, no lands, but an Enforcer. I think it is fine to crack the Candy Trail, draw 1 card. There's a Lembas. Okay, so Lembas is pretty much 2 cast here because oh, do you really have 3 Lightning Bolt in hand? Still fire. Okay. Lightning Bolt, still a fire. Lightning Bolt, still a fire. So, why did you destroy my Mirror Forcer? Too bad, too bad. Alright. Kuldotha is winnable. We just need enough answers. And to do that, we have Elemental Blast and Breath Weapon in the sidebar. And we sideboard out a lot of clunky and not really worth stuff like Earthseeker Serpent, King Artificer, Counterspell, and maybe I just need 1 copy of Cast Down. Usually, even if you aren't playing Cast Down, but just playing Galvanic Blast, it isn't bad to board out 1 copy of Galvanic Blast, because 1/1 removal spells are not always good against them. Alright. So I think this starting end is pretty bad because we don't really have any form of interaction and we prefer to keep something better against them. So we don't need a second Furnace. We go for turn 1 Bridge, turn 2 Fountain. If we draw Metallic Rebuke or Blue Elemental Blast, we can keep the mana open to destroy, to counter something. If they don't have anything relevant, we can just play the Fountain, test, and we draw Blue Elemental Blast. Alright. So next turn we'll be able to cast Enforcer by tapping only 2 mana, so we cast an Enforcer. I don't like the idea of countering their experimental synthesizer. If they go for a synth, they may have the land, or they just try to clickbait to bait my Blue Elemental Blast on synth. Maybe they want to play Kuldotha. Okay, that's cool. Should we go for Mirror Forcer here? I think we should. In reality, I prefer to cast Deadly Dispute to sacrifice my Blood token, because I prefer to not spending mana on casting Mirror Forcer, especially if I can cast more card advantage or some counter spells. So for that reason, I prefer to take 1 damage from Wooder Epicure, because there's no reason to waste any counter trying to save my Mirror Forcer if they attack, and if I block and I have a counter, removal spell I mean. Okay, we have another Blood Fountain. I think we should play first the Candy Trail. So let's check it out, what it is on the top deck. Another Candy Trail is fine because it's more life. We don't need another Vault of Whispers, so Candy Trail on top. Alan. Enforcer costs only 1 mana, so for that reason I'm casting the Blood Fountain. Yeah, because you know, instead of tapping 1 mana to cast Enforcer, it is probably better to just tap 1 mana for Blood Fountain and then cast the Enforcer. Let's see what the opponent is willing to do. Okay, that's fine to me. I have a Candy Trail on the battlefield and a Candy Trail on the top deck. The only thing that matters here is not getting punched in the face by something troublesome, like I don't know. Alright, that is fine. We have a Candy Trail, we have a Caracal Shaman, Bushwalker. Oops. No, well, I don't really want to counter the Bushwalker with a Caracal Shaman yet. That's a lot of damage. Lot of damage, but we have the Master Emerald and we also have the Blue Elemental Blast. We go down to 6 life. We pass the turn. We found another Blue Elemental Blast. And go Candy Trail. Land, bottom. Caracal Shaman pass the turn. And we sacrifice the treasure token and the blood token. There's no reason to sacrifice the Candy Trail. It is probably better to cast my Blue Elemental Blast. Okay. Now I think it's better to counter the Synthesizer, because unless they have 3 copies of Lightning Bolt in hand, it is better to prevent them from having another creature. And also, we basically, if you counter 1 divination when they are on the top deck, and that divination also create a creature, I think that is better. Alright. I'm going down to 3 lives. Do you have a Lightning Bolt? I'll counter it. Do you have a 3rd copy of Lightning Bolt? I hope no. Alright though. I have a lot of copies of your Secret Serpent, but since I have a Galvanic Blast in hand, I think it is better to keep the mana to cast the Galvanic Blast, if necessary. Do I want another copy of Mirror Enforcer? In my opinion, nope. Enforcer here is more like a dead card. I not wanna put creature on the battlefield right now. I prefer to crack Candy Trail, try to find some counter spell. Okay, there's a Voldemort Epicure. We discard Mountain. We kill the Epicure. I don't have much mana, so I prefer to kill the creature as up. It's not really a waste to kill their Epicure here, I think. Alright. Candy Trail. Oh, there's a Dispute. I think we can pass without casting the Dispute. I can cast the Dispute only if necessary. Maybe if they have a Smash Dismittance. I don't really want to crack my Blood Fountain. I don't really want to crack my Blood Fountain and bring back Enforcer and Caracal Shaman, I guess. Okay, so we sacrifice a Furnace to cast Deadly Dispute. In my opinion, it is worth it. And there's a Lambas. Lambas is fine. So cast a Lambas. I think I can also sacrifice it before drawing one card, because I want to sacrifice it and there's no reason to cast Breath Weapon right now. This is spending 2 mana to cycle Echo Wellspring is fine when I have another 2 copies of Deadly Dispute in my deck. Okay. Learn Epicure. Going down to 9 lives. They discard Mountain. They play... what they're playing? Kuldotha? Not playing anything? That's fine. I bring back Enforcer and Karakhan Shaman. So I can play Enforcer and block the Epicure. I think I also cast the Karakhan Shaman, so I'm trying to prevent a Kuldotha Bashwalker, since I don't have a counter spell in hand, and I don't have enough mana to cast Breath Weapon, and I don't want to waste a Breath Weapon to kill a single copy of Voldaren Epicure. So, as you can see, we are very favorited in the late game, and I think there's nothing much to change right now, so we go for the third match, and we hope to draw something good. Alright, so we have a Blue Elemental Blast, a bunch of blue lands. We also have a Metallic Brook, but without having a Blood Fountain isn't really much. So I think you can play the Blue-Black Bridge, because if I draw a Blood Fountain, I can play the Blood Fountain instead of keeping the mana open to cast Blue Elemental Blast. They have a Kuldotha. Ouch. Alright. Yeah, I need a Karakhan Shaman or a Breath Weapon or a counter to... Okay. Alright. Now, I think I need the red mana, so for that reason, instead of playing the Lambas, I prefer to play this land. Not really want to let your Goblin Tomb Raider solve, so counter it. They also have the Bashwalker. Wow. Yeah, probably I should have played around the Bashwalker, maybe counter the Bashwalker. Ay, 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 señorita. I just need Karakhan Shaman, eh? Okay. Alright. So I basically got punished by being too hasty on countering their Goblin Tomb Raider, which is fine, I guess, because, you know, being punished by playing poorly, it is fine, more or less. Do you have another Voldaren? Epicure? Epicure? Can't really play around anything right now. Alright. Who are you? Who? Come on, opponent, play another creature. Don't fear my blue mana. Red weapon. Furnace. Again. Dead to Voldaren Epicure. Alright, so yeah, you know, I basically misplayed, because Blue Elemental Blast can also kill creatures, so counter that Goblin Tomb Raider wasn't really a great idea. Counter Bashwalker was better. I did not that, and I got punished by top decking a Breath Weapon instead of Karakhan Shaman, and I've lost to top deck to an Epicure. But even without the Epicure, I could have lost to a Kuldotha Robot, and when your opponent start like that, start is like this, you can't really do much. Even though you have a lot of card advantage, counter spells, and life gain. But I was probably very much punished by that misplay anyway. And we are starting first, and the starting end is kind of clunky, or rather, we do have a candy trail, which can find another land, but we don't really do much beside missing the second land drop. We don't top deck a land, but then we have a lot of card advantage, and also Gearseeker Serpent. Very weird. It is probably worth to keep it if we accept the fact that you're not fighting the second land at turn 2, but no, if we miss another land drop by then it is probably not worth it. Yeah, I think we should mulligan it. Alright, it is much better, and I guess we don't need the second red black mana source, so it is fine to put on the bottom the second bridge, play Silverbrook Bridge, and pass the turn. We'll go for Lambas and Bolt of Whispers, Lambas, try to find a Gearseeker Serpent or anything else. So the opponent is on Glitters, and Glitters is probably not so good as a matchup, so let's dig for some removal spells, because Cast Down and Galvanic Blast, of course, are necessary to keep them from killing me if they draw no dead Glitters. Also, Kank Artificer is probably one of the best creatures against them. Okay, so Deadly Dispute, and we have a Cast Down. Easy. We'll go for Lambas next turn, trying to find a land, so we don't miss the land drop, and then we can eventually also cast Deadly Dispute on Lambas in their end phase. Ardent Recruit here without any blocker can deal a lot of damage, but since they're not doing anything relevant, I think we are pretty fine right now. So untap, draw land, noise. I think we can play a Lambas or even a Blood Fountain. Lambas, it is better. So we go for Lambas. There's no reason to... I think it is better to just leave the blue-red mana open. So if we find something like... They need another untapped land? I think not. We have another Dispute to generate mana and to draw extra card. So we just play the Drosper Bridge, pass. Next turn we can go for Lambas, Bloodfoot, and Karakan Shaman if they play too many creatures, and we can destroy all their threats. We do basically Fairy Cannonade eventually. I mean, basically we play Karakan Shaman as any kind of removal spells, but we are also able to kill the Argent Recruit, which is good. Probably I should have kept on the top the untapped land, because I only have 5 or 4 mana, so maybe it is better to draw more lands. I think it is time to play the Karakan Shaman. So we go for Blood Fountain first. Then we can sacrifice Lambas, the blood token. Probably it is better to also cast another. Yeah, we can go for another Blood Fountain. Just for bridge. Kraken Shaman. Pass the turn. We have 2 mana and tap it, the Seat of Synod and the treasure token. So we can leave the mana open to cast down, and we can also sacrifice Lambas, the blood token, and another blood token, and kill all their creatures. Okay, very aggressive Galvanic Blast. In my opinion, there is no reason to cast Galvanic Blast targeting my Kraken Shaman, but well, better for me. I'm basically trading 3 cards for only 1 Kraken Shaman, which is very good. My mana Glintook, oh, brutal. Alright, so you draw 1 card and bounce back the Synthesizer. They're playing against Synthesizer. Probably they don't have the second white mana source, and they weren't able to find an Ancient Den. Oh, they already have the Ancient Den in hand. Okay, sure, go for it. And exile the Galvanic Blast. Alright, so I don't really have much time right now. Alright, Springless Drop, Galv Blast, go down to 8 life. I probably need some Galvanic Blast, or I need to crack the Lambas, I'm not sure. I need a King Artificer, more or less. So we go for Lambas. We go for Lambas. Galvanic Blast, it is good. So we draw the Galvanic Blast. Play Mistfall Bridge. Pass the turn. I should kill 1 Glintook with my Galvanic Blast. Go for your experimental synth. All that glitters. Ho ho ho. Sure, sure. Oops. Not today. If you have another all that glitters, I will be really happy to kill your Glintook. Sure. Okay, I'll let all the glitters resolve, so they attack, and they can't tap the creature with Springleaf Dam to add some mana. So if they have a Tokas or everything else that requires 1 mana, they can't cast it without having another creature. Alright. Okay, Candy Trail. Yeah, we can dig for a Chum Blocker. I don't need any more lands, I guess. We can sacrifice a Blood Fountain. Not yet for the second Blood Fountain right now. Okay. I guess. Seat of Synod. Crack the Kindred Trail. Too late, maybe. In reality, I guess that Counterspell counts as a Time Walk, because we got back 3 lives thanks to Kindred Trail. Ooh, two casts on the top deck. Well, that's kind of fine. I mean, it is more troublesome if they draw creatures instead of card advantage, because with their card advantage you can find stuff like more lands, more draw. I prefer to keep my counter spell to counter a glitter or another mirror enforcer instead of countering something like a Chokecast. In my opinion, it is better to counter the Glintook. Let's hope they don't have any more troublesome stuff. So there's a Springleaf Drum, which is fine, and they pass the turn. Alright, we have the Charm Blocker, we have a Deadly Dispute, and I think we should go for Deadly Dispute first. So we sacrifice a Vault Whispers or a Treasure Token. No, Treasure Token. Yeah. We sacrifice the Treasure Token. We draw Lembas. Well, we play the Serpent. We sacrifice the Lembas, I guess. I mean, they already played 2 copies of Galvanic Blast, so at this point it is probably better to play around double Galvanic Blast. So if they don't have double Galvanic Blast this turn, and if they don't have another Builded Glitters, basically I'm not able to lose this game. Alright, that's a Gingerbread. And we are gonna losing the third copy of Glitter. Seems like so. Nope, no Glitter. If there isn't glitter, glitter. Oh well, I mean, glitters is of course the most Warzone stuff here, but they don't have it, and I have enough life to not lose to some Galvanic Blast. So in my opinion, it is better to crack the Blood Fountain to bring back the Crocodile Shaman and kill the Gingerbread if we don't find anything relevant with this copy of Lembas. And anyway, Lembas get back some lives, so it is good. And there's a King Artificer, pretty good stuff. Yeah, I think I think I want the King Artificer now. So we play the land, we tap some mana, and we go for King Artificer. So after doing that, we can sacrifice the Lembas, and we try to get the King Artificer killed by, don't really know, whatever thing maybe happen. I probably should attack with my draw Sword Bridge this turn. So if they want to attack in their next turn, I can just block with the King, which is good for me because I want to maximize the card advantage from Blood Fountain since I don't have any cards in it, and I wasn't able to find any creatures beside 1 Shaman, 1 Serpent, and 1 Kenku. But probably I should not talk about card advantage here. It's more like I just want to have more creatures, and King Artificer can become another indestructible creature. So for that reason, I'd like to be able to bring back more than only 1 King Artificer. Only 1 character, more creatures beside the singleton Caracal Shaman from my graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, so go for Ichor Wellspring, draw 1 card. Candy Trail. It is pretty free here, Candy Trail. Next time walk, and maybe I will be able to find something. Serpent and Toecast. Okay, so at this point, I'm drawing both Toecast and Gearseeker Serpent first, Toecast, but before that, I think we should go for Caracal Shaman. The reason for playing Caracal Shaman here is just, I mean, you know, when you basically lose only 2 glitters and you have a Caracal Shaman, just play Caracal Shaman. Oh, Probably I should attack it first with the King Artificer, forcing them to block it, but or to get wind damage, but it is probably not worth it anymore. Also, since I have a Tinker Wellspring, probably should have kept on the top the Gearsucker Serpent instead of the Toolcast, because, you know, if I sacrifice my Icar Wellspring to kill their Gingerbread, I draw one card, and that card is my Gearsucker Serpent, and, you know, Gearsucker Serpent is a pretty solid attacker. They're attacking for 2. Oh, they're attacking with everything. Cool. They're not... Okay, well... I can just chum block this way. So I take 2 damage. I lose 1 serpent, which is fine. They still have left 1 samurai token. So they basically created a lot of good creatures for Argal, just to resolve one serpent, which is pretty fine to me. Sacrifice the Candy Trail. Ah, okay. Alright. So we attack with the Crossbow Bridge. Play Enforcer. Enforcer. And finally, Serpent. Your turn, opponent. I think you are pretty much dead. Yep. Shaman. I'm not sure about Shaman being good in this matchup, but it worked fine. So I guess even stuff that maybe not very much good can be fair enough when the opponent doesn't have enough answers. They're probably bringing in their Crimson Acolyte, maybe the Obsidian Acolyte. So probably we should keep Metallic Rebuke or similar stuff. But anyway, I think that we should bring in the Breath Weapon. I don't like Karaklan Shaman, even if it killed their Ardent Recruit. In my opinion, it is better to play Breath Weapon, because Breath Weapon can kill a Glint Hook, and I think there's no reason to bring in Elemental Blast or Negate. I prefer removal spells against this kind of deck, because they're just an aggressive deck. There's no reason, probably, to play around their card advantage. Okay, they may be able to draw some interaction, but I prefer to deal with their all that glitters, or against or to remove, to kill their creatures. So in my opinion, it is better to have more removals than counter spells. So for that reason, like, I brought out my 2 main deck counter spells, and I kept my Metallic Rebuke, because I think Metallic Rebuke can be sometimes good enough. I mean, it's a 1 mana counter spells that can counter bot creatures and all the glitter. So for that reason, I think the card is good enough, and it can eventually play around well against stuff like Dust to Dust, or even Cast into the Fire. I'm not sure how much Artifact 8 the Glitters Decklist play right now. So for that reason, I prefer to keep Metallic Rebuke. Alright, so the opponent moved down to 5, missed the first land drop, and passed the turn. I guess they kept 0 lands, and or maybe they just missed the land drop, and not sure. Alright. Alright. That is cool. We can play turn 3 King Artificer, animate the Silverbrook Bridge, and then sacrifice the king with their dispute, so to draw extra cards and to generate a treasure token. Candy Trail and Echo Wellspring. I don't like the second Candy Trail, but Echo Wellspring can be pretty good since we already have a deadly dispute in hand. So I pass the turn. Let's see what the opponent is gonna play. Alright, there's an experimental synthesizer. They probably just want to draw extra lands since they missed the first land drop after mulling down to 5. Alright, so we go for Whisper, Echo Wellspring, keeping one red mana open. Maybe we'll be able to draw some cool stuff like Metal Rebuke, but it's more likely just I just probably need the red mana open to play around Glitter at this point. Ooh, okay, there's a Glintook. Probably should just we should probably just get some damage from their small stuff right now, and then play a bunch of creatures just to block their attackers. There. Yeah, we go for dispute. I'm anyway playing the Enforcer this turn, so okay. Okay. Do we need to play the Blood Fountain now? I think it is better to play Seat of Synod and tap 1 mana to cast the first Enforcer and 0 mana to cast the second Enforcer. I mean, I don't want to lose the treasure token because next turn I can tap the black mana to cast the Blood Fountain, so it is better to not waste the mana generated for the treasure token just to cast the first Enforcer. So we anyway played 2 Enforcers this turn and pass the turn. Fragmite can't attack. We get 2 damage from the Glintook. If they have a counter for Galvanic Blast, we have a cast down, so it's not dealing too much damage. Anyway, they have a lot of card advantage right now, so even if they mull it down to 5 and they miss this, ooh, not Glintook, and they missed the first land drop, they're going back for it. I mean, they're still in game, so it is not likely. I can still lose. So I just needed to figure out who to not lose in this game. And the best way is just to play some chump blockers and play around weird stuff like maybe, I don't know, maybe Dust to Dust. Oh, they don't have an answer to King Artificer. Cool, I won. Alright. Last match of the league against LabroNico. We are starting first. And we mulligan. I mean, same problem as always with Affinity, with the Grixis Affinity. Singleton land in the starting end is bad news, so we mulligan. And even though this end doesn't do much, I think we should keep it. I mean, we probably gonna miss the third land drop, but then we have double dispute, double lambas. I probably should keep the Mecharge Rebuke. I mean, Event Hold probably not gonna get some value or mana ramp from casting the second copy of the Dispute. I think I still prefer to keep the Metallic Rebuke here. Alright, there's a draw spell bridge, so we play the red land, just because I don't have yet a red mana on the battlefield, and pass the turn. So, oh, Boros Synth, right. Limbas. Another land No, thank you, because this land is tapped. And we draw Metallic Rebuke. Metallic Rebuke. I prefer to draw an untapped land because I have another land bus and will be much better to be able to cast both Little Dispute and Metallic Rebuke or land bus and Metallic Rebuke, whatever it is. And alright, they have a good start. We have a Blood Fountain. I'll go for Dispute on Lambas because I'm also generating a treasure token. No land. To cast. Let's see if I'm not able to draw land after. Wow. I should have kept the first land of the top deck apparently. Alright. So I got finished by that play and we passed the turn. Maybe discard Lambas. Discard Lambas. Well, I can play Gearseeker Serpent, just a chump block. So I block the 3/1 creature. But if they have another Glean 2, I'm probably gonna lose anyway because I missed the land drop and they have a lot of damage on the bird on the battlefield. One turn too late, I guess. Alright, Blood Fountain. Gearseeker Serpent. And pass the turn. Block. Counter the Batter Fist because I don't want extra damage right now. And just pray the opponent does have double Galvanic Blast. Breath Weapon is probably the best card we can play against this kind of deck. Anyway. Okie dokie. Do you have another Battle Fist? Butter Fist. Ooh. They have an untapped land. So basically they didn't play around Metallic Rebuke. But they can kill me with Galvanic Blast, so it is likely they will kill me next turn. Unless they let me untap. If I untap, I have a Lambast and a kill and a Metallic Rebuke. Alright, so alright. So Lambast, correct the Lambast. Scry 1. Draw land. Or an Enforcer. No, can you try? No, thank you. Another Dispute. They don't have a Galvanic Blast. Maybe they don't have a Lightning Bolt. Synth, alright. Great Furnace. 3 mana. Sacrifice the Experimental Synthesizer. Korsky Fisher. You know that Korsky Fisher is not gonna resolve. We try and block the 2/2 creature. Get 5 damage. Go down to 2 lives. Counter everything. They really don't have any burn spells in their hand? Weird. Weird for sure. Alright. So block the Samurai token, get 5 damage, and I'm dead. I do have any way to not lose here. I don't really think there's any way to not lose. Probably just double Galvanic Blast can let me not... no, not even double Galvanic Blast. So, yep, I'm dead. Alright, so we start first, we bring in Breath Weapon. We probably board out Karaklan Shaman, because, you know, Karaklan Shaman doesn't kill the flying creatures. I don't like Cast Down, and I don't really like Counterspell. But I need a way to counter their Dust to Dust. So Counterspell, Negate, Metallic Rebuke. I should keep all those counter spells. I don't like the third copy of Gearseeker Serpent in reality, but it is probably worse than the singleton copy of Cast Down. I mean, 3 1-for-1 removal spells are probably necessary, because we also need a way to kill the Korosky Fisher, or block the Korosky Fisher with Kinku or any kind of answer. And I'm not bringing out any two cast to dispute probably. I think we can submit the deck. I mean, usually we play a defensive role against Boros Synth deck, so unless we have a very fast or stable start like this starting and on the play, we prefer to have a lot of interaction, a lot of card advantage to play around, dust, and similar stuff. Ooh, I probably slamming just Eco Wellspring because I have the Deadly Dispute, so even if they have a Revoke Existence or Cast Down, I can still cast the Dispute eventually. Alright. There's a King Betrayal. I go for Dispute here. We draw a bunch of lands, which is good and cool. No need for another land right now. I don't really like the Gearseeker Serpent. They are putting pressure on the battlefield, that is true, but I already have an Enforcer and eventually King Artificer. So I prefer to dig for more interaction, since I already have a Breath Weapon to kill their creatures, but I don't have any way to prevent them from exiling my land, and if they start casting Dust to Dust and Heroic Existence will be really troublesome for me, because I need a way to not lose from losing my mana, and they're probably going aggro, and I already have an answer to their aggressive start. And there's a Blood Fountain, good. I'm playing the blue-black bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I probably should pass here. So, attacking first, I Breath Weapon, I kill all their creatures, and let's just wait for some more stuff, more threats, or whatever they may have in hand. I mean, next turn I'm probably gonna play Enforcer, Blood Fountain to cast, try to find more creatures or some counter spells. I mean, they have a very fast start both game 1 and game 2, but at last I was able to cast Breath Weapon right now. Okay, so 2 cast. Nothing relevant. Well, maybe Lambas. Another King Artificer. Oh well. I can wait for the second Conquer Artificer. Mirror Forcer is free, so Furnace and Forcer. Maybe I can already crack the Candy Trail. I can find another Mirror Forcer. Nope. It is better to... It is probably better to just bluff a counter spell or a negate or even a metallic rebuke instead of just cracking the Candy Trail. I mean, it is not very likely to draw another Enforcer, and they may have stuff like Dance to Dust to exile double Enforcer, and if they exile on Enforcer with Revoke Existence, it is fine, but I don't really want to play a double creature. Oh, there's a Rebuke. If there's the change for my opponent to have Dust to Dust. Okay. So we go for Candy Trail. I haven't played a land yet, but there's a Deadly Dispute on the top, so Seat of Sin at bottom, Dispute on top, Bridge, Enforcer, and I tap a lot of mana, I cast King Artificer, and then I probably just wait. There's no reason for me to attack here. I prefer to turn it over. Okay. I wasn't really expecting this singleton copy of Journey Nowhere, but I guess it is kind of fine. I mean, I still have one blue mana open thanks to this treasure token, and so for that reason, okay, that is fine because I have a Blood Fountain. Blood a land, pass the turn, and there's a little dispute. Okay, so hey, I can sacrifice my Kenku Artificer with Deadly Dispute and then bring back the Kenku with Blood Fountain. We'll do that. Sayonara Kenku. Alright, negate. Blood Fountain. Generate one token. We play the bridge, pass the turn, and we have enough blue mana to cast both negate and retarded rebuke. So next turn, I'm bringing back some good stuff. It is probably the right play to counter their experimental synthesizer because they only have one card in hand. Pyro? Okay, they're sacrificing the clue. Weird, or maybe they bring it in Pyroblast. 2 mana. Korski Fisher. Nah. Not gonna letting you resolve the Korski Fisher. I mean, you have a lot of mana, so it isn't really worth to keep the Metallic Rebuke in hand, and letting you resolve Korski Fisher with an experimental synthesizer on the battlefield isn't really a great choice for me. Okie dokie, cracking some mana, tapping some mana, playing Dimir and force and pass the turn. Alright, if you have another Revoke Existence, that is probably fine to me because you just exile my Mirror Forcer. Oh no, Galvanic Blast. Okay. We crack the Candy Trail in the end of turn, unless they have some very troublesome stuff. Skyfisher here isn't really troublesome. I mean, I have a King Cultivator. I also have a Galvanic Blast eventually, so we can let the Skyfisher soul. Oh, okay, thank you for the extra mana. So I can counter the Journey to Nowhere. They are equipping the Butter Fist. They're not equipping the Butter Fist. Yeah, 3 lives and 1 extra card. Blood Bounty. And Serpent. We animate the Droughsport Bridge. And then I can also play the Gyroseeker Serpent, because I have enough mana to cast Journey to Nowhere, to cast Counterspell targeting Journey to Nowhere, and should I attack here? I don't really want to get attacked by Skyfisher equipped with Butterfist. Not gonna attack. I'm not gonna attacking. The funny part about this deck list I'm currently playing is that I play all the counter spells that Affinity can play, well, beside Turn Aside. I mean, Turn Aside is just a sideboard counter spell, but I really like being able to play stuff like Negate, Meteoric Rebuke, and Counterspell here. Even though I'm not really a fan of Counterspell in Affinity, because you are forced to play stuff like Chromatic Star or have very good draws, but you know, with the Scry 1, Scry 2 from Lambas and similar artifacts, it may be worth to play that kind of interaction. Alright, so we have a lot of mana. I think I'm playing first Candy Trail. No, I mean Lambas, because it costs 1 extra mana and it's only 1 card. I don't want extra lands in late game. So Candy Trail. Counter spell. Alright, so Silverbluff Bridge. The land on the bottom, the counter spell on the top, and I don't have an untapped land, so I can really cast counter spell. But anyway, I'm attacking with the Serpent. There's not any reason to play the Blood Fountain if I want to play around the Urvok existence, so just slamming my Mirror Forcer on the battlefield past the turn and eventually crack the Candy Trail late game. Okay, they're cracking their Lambas. Top deck, Butterfeast. Cool. We draw 1 card. We draw land. I'll sacrifice the blood token, discarding this Seat of Synod, because I don't need extra lands right now. Well, I have another Blood Fountain, so I can discard this bridge with the blood token. I don't have a lot of interaction, or anyway, I don't really need a lot of interaction. I mean, I can just kill their stuff with my Galvanic Blast or Cast Down, and anyway, they have only 1 card in hand. They don't have any cards in hand, actually. So if they double block, I can Galvanic Blast or Cast Down. Probably it is better to cast Down, maybe? No, Galvanic Blast, because if I cast the Blast, I'm open with I have enough mana to cast Counterspell. You're blocking only the Serpent. Alright. Double blocking Enforcer. Sure. Alright. Alright. Well, oh. Yep. Galvanic Blast, target Skyfisher. And it is your turn, opponent. Okay. I don't think that Relic of Progenitus is necessary in this matchup for Boros, since they already have a lot of stuff like Revoke Existence, so... Okay. Oh no, I'm not gonna let you solve a divination when you have 0 cards in hand. Alright, easy peasy. So, no change, just a might deck. I'd like to play also Blue Elemental Blast if I fear a cast into the fire, but lately Boros Synth isn't really playing any cast into the fire anymore in their stock list, at least on Magic Online. So for that reason, I think that Counterspell, Metallic Rebuke, and the other counterspells are plenty enough. Okay, kind of weird, but we have a Candy Trail and we can find the blue mana, so for that reason I'm keeping this, and we also have a King Artificer, which is really great in this matchup, so I guess we can just go for it. I mean, trying to find a blue source from the top deck. Candy Trail can be very good for that. Eventually you can just go for Candy Trail, Blood Fountain on 2-2, and let's see what happens later. The game. There's some Enforcer. Alright, so Blood Fountain, because, you know, we have 2 mana, so we just tap all the mana this turn. There's no land on the top deck, so bottom. And we have a lot of good top decks right now. Deadly Dispute, other land, or no, just Deadly Dispute or a land. I mean, there's Escape Fisher, good start. Not on one play, but later they had a Rebel and Escape Fisher. They also have a bounce land, so they're not wasting any mana. And there's a Great Furnace on the Great Furnace on the top deck. Okay, Eco Wellspring, go. Red Weapon, sure, cool. So we can play the Enforcer. Probably should discard one Kenku. I don't have any blue mana, so there's no reason to keep all my Kenku in hand. And I prefer to already draw one card. And for the same reason as I can draw another Enforcer, as I already said in game 2, I probably just I probably should draw as a sorcery speed before passing the turn. But they have again Journey to Nowhere, they exile my Mirror Enforcer, and I have a Lambas. Lambas is better here compared to cracking the Candy Trail, because we dig one card more compared to Candy Trail. Another red-black land, so no thank you. I'll put it on the bottom. And no land. Cool. Alright, so I probably am too greedy to not draw the third land, but you know, I only have uh, 4 red lands and I already have 3 of them on the battlefield, so I don't really feel like keeping the fourth no blue but red mana source on the battlefield. Um, it's weird to not draw any lands. Anyway, already I put it on the bottom land, so it is not so weird to not being able to draw a land. Okay, a lot of damage, so I probably should be forced to play a Breath Weapon next turn to kill 2 tokens. And oh, it finally arrived. Alright, so we pass the turn, kill 2 creatures, and wait for the opponent to have some burn spells. Let's go. Alright, I need a removal spell on the top deck, I guess. 2 mana? 3 mana. Experimental synthesizer, I guess. Nope, they're not doing anything. What do you want to do? Without Ragnar's Bargain, this matchup seems kind of worse because, you know, getting lives with Candy Trail and Lambas seems kind of not enough, but, you know, Trail and Lambas makes a lot of matchups way better. So for that reason, I think it's still better to play Candy Trail and Lambas over Reckoner's Bargain in this metagame. At least on the Magical Line metagame, because you know, in paper, at least in Italy, Boros Synth is widely played, at least compared to other meta decks, like, just to say, Boros, no, well, Kuldotha, probably Kuldotha Red or Golgari, or surely Monoblue Terror or Dimir Terror are less played compared to Boros Synth in the tabletop metagame in Italy. Alright, so we just basically don't get damaged this turn by cracking the Lambas. We got a lot of... oh, okay, they're flooding apparently, and they're... after cracking double experimental synthesizer. So what do we need to find here? Beside another breath weapon. Some mirror forcers maybe? Weird situation. Not sure if casting to cast here is the right play, because you know, maybe Enforce Kenku plus Metallic Brook was the wise play, but I mean, it is a weird game. This one, they have a pyro. They have a pyro. Oh well, please Galvanic Blast me so you can win this game. I played poorly. I played sloppily, so feel free to kill me. Yep. Okay. GG. Alright, so lost in game 3 by not hitting the third mana. The fourth mana, the blue mana at the right spot. They have a good start. I was forced to cast Breath Weapon to kill two tokens, and then they played another 2 tokens. So Butterfist is really great in this kind of matchup against Grixis Affinity. But we have a blast in this league. I mean, the deck performed, in my opinion, really well. This league could ended as a 4-1 at last if I didn't counter the Goblin Pirate against Kuldotha, and instead I kept the Monumental Blast to counter kicked Goblin Bushwhacker. So in my opinion, the deck is still good, still playable, and probably is well placed in this metagame. We faced Glint. No, not Glint. We faced Glitter's Affinity, and seemed kind of not bad as I feared, but they didn't really had all that glitters in the early game, and I was able to play around Gingerbrute quite fine. So for that reason, I'm not sure if the matchup is supposed to be that way. Anyway, I kind of like this deck list. I like being able to play Bolt Rebuke and Counterspell, and Negate is still strong as an answer to stuff like Dust to Dust. If you fear Dust to Dust at least. I don't really think you guys should play Dust to Dust in this metagame unless you fear a lot of Grixis Affinity. Dust to Dust isn't great against glitters. And Red Weapon seemed quite good, at least against the glitters, because Glintook and Experimental Synthesizer are Trabism, because they can generate a lot of creatures. So for that reason, I think Breath Weapon in the sideboard of this deck is quite mandatory. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video in English. I hope you found understandable. My English pronunciation is probably still lacking because, you know, I'm Italian, so I have an Italian accent. I have a lacking knowledge of how to pronounce some words or how to speak in the best way possible for you guys to understand me. Bye.